What more can we expect?
Well, you said you didn't have too many problems on the road this morning when you came in.
Driving from the West Loop downtown, it was easy.
It was fine. Looks like people heeded the alerts that we were going to have some winter weather, and well, we're looking okay. I think we're going to improve as time goes on.
Sounds good.
So good news there. We do expect the temperatures to stay above freezing or maybe even warm up just a little bit, and that would be good news because there's still some snow falling, and I expect that until the system finally exits. Probably around 1 or 2 is when we'll see most of this shut down, although some of you have already seen this begin to end. Let's go ahead and get you in a little closer and show you the radar. Still a mix of some rain and snow for some of you. For most of the city, especially from downtown and points to the south, this is all rain. There may still be a couple of snowflakes that mix in briefly at times, but the areas that are still seeing snow are farther to the north and west, where we do have some accumulation reports, and these have been continuing to come in. These are fairly recent. So Lake Villa, 1.3. I've seen a couple locations that made it up to 2. Now, that may be how much has accumulated, but that may not be necessarily how much is on the ground because the temperatures are above freezing, and most of this is likely melted. There's another Fox Lake Hills at 2 inches of snow. Hoffman Estates at about 3/4 of an inch of snow. And again, some of this is going to melt as it comes down or as it accumulates because the temperatures are above freezing. And as long as this is the case, I think we're going to be A-OK for the rest of the afternoon. 36 at O'Hare, 37 in Joliet, you're 35 in Valparaiso, you're 33 in LaPorte. So there are a couple locations that are still much closer to freezing than we would like them to be, but I expect the temperatures to continue warming up as the day goes on. There's that system exiting with a couple of leftover areas of some light showers or flurries as we get into the late afternoon. I think most of this will wind down. I'm going to leave a little sprinkle or a drizzle in the forecast for tonight and even overnight and early tomorrow, even though this particular model doesn't call for much of that. When the precipitation is pretty light, the model doesn't really spit out too much here. But notice the temperatures, even tonight, they're going to be holding into the 30s and not getting back down to freezing. And as long as that's the case, I think we're going to be okay. Getting through the afternoon on Saturday, a couple of sprinkles still possible, but the temperatures into the 40s by the afternoon, especially if we kick this south or southwest wind in. I think it's going to be relatively light, but every little bit will help to keep our temperatures a little bit above the average. So drizzle for tonight, 37 for the overnight low, and most locations should stay above freezing for tonight. And then tomorrow looking at 44 for the high temperature, leaving that chance for a few sprinkles. I kind of backed off. Laura earlier had maybe some light rain, and I certainly think a few locations could see some light rain, but I think it's really going to be relatively light precipitation for tomorrow, and it may not be all day. It may be kind of an off and on scenario. Sunday, the clouds stay with us, unfortunately, but the temperatures stay above the average. Averages into the upper 30s to maybe low 40s or so, and I think that's going to be the case all the way through early next week. Another chance of rain arrives on Tuesday. Jim?
Rob, thank you. Happening today, a celebration.